Hello, my name is Mac Soderquist. I've been attending Portland First Nazarene for about 38 years. We moved here from the Midwest. My story is quite different from what you folks have heard already. Some of the things I want to start saying may seem a little egotistical, but I have to say it because it makes a point for what changed my life later on. I was fortunate that at a very early age of even 2 or 3, I could sing on tune. You get wonderful feedback as a young person like that, so you start getting a lot of confidence even as a very young person. By the time I was in 4th grade, I wanted to play an instrument, and so I begged my dad to get me a cornet or trumpet. I worked hard on it, I practiced a lot, I loved it, and by the time I was in 7th grade, I was in a high school band already. By the time I was a junior, I was recruited by Billy Graham Association to play for some of their evangelists around Minnesota and Iowa. I had wonderful, wonderful success in both my studies, in my music, and in my basketball. I played trumpet solos in churches all over Minneapolis for all those years I was there. In my junior year, I met the love of my life, Marlene, and we ended up seeing each other constantly, and I ended up even getting married between my junior and senior year. Early in life, I just had an awful lot of success, and this started to formulate some things on my mind. I was trying to be humble publicly, but deep down inside, I think I was getting a little bit too much pride about the things that I could do and forgetting of the talents and abilities the Lord gave me the ability to do. We ended up moving to Portland, and we came in 1978, I believe. I think Marlene and I had just turned about 39 years of age. Would you believe that's 39 years ago? Woo! Anyway, I got involved with my buddy Al, and I spent 5 years working with him. We had a lot of success in the agency there. In fact, we almost tripled the volume in a matter of 3 years. So here again, things were going well. We really fell in love with the people of Portland First Church. There was a family here that had actually sung in my group back in Minneapolis that told us about the church, and so we felt like we couldn't go anywhere else. I didn't go out and do a bunch of major sins, but I started getting satisfied with my life too much, and I started cooling off in my spiritual walk. And do you know what I became? I became a pew sitter. I should have worn a sweatshirt for a while that had CC, Chicken Christian, because I really wasn't doing much for the Lord. I remember going home to my wife and say, honey, guess what? We've had praying parents. They've been praying grandparents. And you could ask our kids. They loved the prayers of their grandparents. And I said, honey, looks like we're coming up next. We're the oldest. So I started getting a little bit more serious about my prayer life for the rest of the family. I'm mowing the lawn, and all of a sudden I get short of breath. And I can hardly finish mowing the lawn. Don't know what's going on. So I had to rest for a bit. A week later, I got hit. And I don't know what exactly all the details were for, but Marlene had to rush me to the hospital. It turned out that after they did blood tests, the doctors all gathered around me, looked me square in the eye and said, Mac, you've got a form of cancer. You've got what they call multiple myeloma, and that's a form of bone marrow cancer. They said, Mac, based on what you have and based on history, you've got 3 to 5 years. That's kind of strong words all of a sudden when you've had a wonderful life. You know, after you get hit with something like that, you start thinking a little more by yourself. And I spent many hours by myself thinking. But you know what? I didn't want to give up on life yet. In fact, God has been so good to our family. I said, okay, maybe I don't have the strength to do a lot of music anymore. What can I do to be in terms of ministry? Because I had already wasted several years being cool, sitting in the pew. And that's an indictment against me. I should never let that happen. I said, okay, God gave me the personality to talk to people. So one of the things I can do is be as an encourager to other people. And I like to do that. I like positive life. I like everything positive. What else can I do? Well, I started going out for coffee, and I started noticing that a lot of people gather around various coffee shops to talk to people. And all of a sudden it hit me. You know what? I can start talking to people in coffee shops. And that's exactly what the Lord laid on my heart, to start talking to people in coffee shops. People around us that we can share the love of Christ, because they have to see that we really love them. We don't talk just for our own ego. We share because we love them and we are concerned about their eternity. I was given a second chance with my cancer. I was given a second chance to rethink my life, to rethink what I could do in ministry. And I don't want to blow it.